Hello and welcome back to the Organizational Health Check series by JEYPENT Company Limited. JEYPENT is a management consulting practice that is based here in Nairobi, Kenya. My name is Julia Irongo, and today we'll be focusing on human resource, HR, and culture, checking to see how we can drive performance, drive results without necessarily breaking the people. See, every organization says that the people are their greatest asset, but if we are really honest, many workplaces don't live up to that claim. Sometimes staff are overworked, undervalued, or even left without the clarity and support they need. And this breeds or creates a workplace that is not very supportive for employees and staff growth. There's been a lot of talk in the recent past, maybe the recent 2 years, concerning the toxic workplace culture. And I think there are two sides to this coin. When it comes to HR and organizational culture, there are usually two extremes. So on one side, we have the most common one, where ambition is driven without humanity. So here organizations push for results at any cost. Staff are stretched thin, leadership demands more and more, and then burnout becomes the norm. So yes, the work gets done, but the cost is human exhaustion. These organizations will ordinarily have very high turnover, and eventually the organization itself will actually decline. On the other side, we can also have a scenario where there is a lot of humanity in the organization, but without ambition. So humanity without ambition. And this is where the organization is very caring, but lacks the drive, and the staff feels safe, but there is little urgency. So in these situations, standards slide and performance suffers. The workplace is pleasant, but the mission and the focus of the workplace often declines. So neither extreme is healthy. The sweet spot is in the middle. It's being able to balance ambition with humanity. And that is where organizations drive the results, but not at the expense of their people, and where they care for the people, but without lowering the bar of excellence or the expectations that drive the performance and the outcomes of the organization. So how do you know if your organization has drifted too far on either side of the coin? There are some quote-unquote red flags, or some of the indicators that you could check, and one of them is capacity gaps, where staff are expected to deliver without the right skills or tools. So the job descriptions are such and such, and after every maybe performance review cycle, the job description is updated or refreshed, and sometimes the new tasks or the tasks that are assigned to your staff, there is no equipping with the right skills. There are no tools to support them to deliver. There is little to no support from maybe the leadership to the staff to enable them to deliver on the expectation. So if there is such a scenario, then you know that there is a bit of a unhealthy HR and culture within the organization. Secondly, unclear roles. Job descriptions could be outdated, and in worst cases they could be vague or even ignored by the staff. So this leaves staff either duplicating tasks or missing key responsibilities. In either case, the performance or the outcomes of the organization may be altered, may not be as expected. Number 3 is poor feedback systems, so that when the only time when people hear from their managers is when something is very wrong, or when they are doing the end of maybe the periodic performance reviews. That's the only time when they are being told this and this and this and this is not going as expected, and this would be expected of you. So when feedback systems are not functioning properly, then the culture and the HR practices in the organization are in question. Number 4 is burnout. Long hours, no boundaries, and little to no recognition may lead to exhaustion, and that actually often translates to very high turnovers. So ensure that your organization has a balance, respecting the boundaries between work and the life of your employees or your staff, and that there is an emphasis of a healthy work-life balance. If this sounds familiar, your organization may be running on ambition without humanity. On the flip side, if the staff seem too comfortable, but performance is stagnant and goals are routinely missed and accountability is also weak, that may signal humanity without ambition. In either case, there is less than ideal organization culture. So the role of the values and leadership in building the organization culture and in HR particularly. So if you claim respect as a value, do your staff feel respected in how they are managed? And if you value collaboration, are your systems actually designed to ensure and encourage teamwork, or do they just reward competition? If you highlight excellence, then do you provide training and resources for your staff to deliver? Leadership sets the tone. We always need to remember that culture is shaped less by what the leaders say. It is shaped more by what they do. So here are 4 foundations for balancing ambition with humanity. 1, clear job descriptions. Ensure that everyone knows their role and how it contributes to the bigger picture. The second part of that is very important, so that your staff or your human resources actually feel that they are contributing to something bigger. Nobody wants to be working in something or doing something that does not matter. So ensure that 1, they are clear on their role, and also they are clear on how it contributes to the big picture for the organization. Number 2, ensure feedback and support systems are in place so that there are regular check-ins, there are fair reviews and objective reviews, and also open communication channels, both from the top to up and down. Number 3, capacity building. It is important to invest in staff training and give them the tools that they need to succeed. This is actually investment in your organization. When you have staff who are not, whose capacity is not being built over time, they are not positioned or armed with the resources, the knowledge, the skills that they need to deliver, it is the organization that actually suffers. So you may want to make that a priority, to invest in staff training and to give them the tools that they need to succeed. Number 4, and this will be my last point, I'm talking about the foundations for balancing ambition with humanity, so that then you have a conducive work culture or conducive workplace culture. So number 4, that is work-life balance. Set realistic workloads for your staff and ensure that you respect boundaries, so that in instances where maybe your staff are out on leave or they're taking an off day or it's past hours, you are able to ensure that you're not then assigning work into those times. And ensure to keep an eye out for burnout among your staff, so that you do not have less than ideal performance or output simply because your staff is actually burnt out. So why does this matter? When HR systems and culture strike the balance between ambition and humanity, staff are usually more motivated and they are more clear about their roles. Sometimes people feel like clarifying expectations is being maybe too prescriptive, but that is not true. It is important that the people you're working with are clear, crystal clear on what is expected of them, so that then as they are planning their week or their day or even maybe their quarter, they know exactly what is expected of them. Then programs are effective and sustainable because everybody is doing what is expected of them. So it runs like a well-coordinated engine, so that what needs to be done is done in time, and what is not done, everybody is clear on who to ask if something is going amiss in such and such an aspect of a program or maybe a project or deliverable. Then the organization also attracts and retains talent. This a reduction in turnover rates. Investment that goes into onboarding, the whole recruitment process, advertising, interviewing, onboarding, training is actually higher by comparison to when you actually train and equip your staff and create a culture that people feel they are able to thrive and they can see how they are contributing to a bigger picture. They feel relevant, they feel heard. Then funders see not just strong projects but also a strong institution, because institutions are made by people. Now, when the balance tips in either direction, where there is a lot of emphasis on ambition and neglect on the humanity aspect, or on the other side, when there's a lot of emphasis on humanity and a neglect on ambition, then the organizations will suffer. In one case, it may have what many people will call a toxic culture, but on the other side, you can then have a lot of complacency within the organization, so that the people are, comfortable, but then there's a lot of complacency, and it's bad for your organization and also bad for your team, because then that means that they are not actually growing. Healthy organizations hold both together. They push forward, pushing on ambition, the bottom line and all that, while also taking care of their teams and their people. So in closing, can your team really do the work without burning out? Is there a workload on your team or on the members of your team that is, a bit unrealistic? And if it's not, if actually your team cannot execute the tasks or the responsibilities without burnout, it's time to take an honest look at your HR systems and your culture, because organizational health is people health, and the organizations that thrive are those that combine ambition with humanity. This has been episode 3 of the Organizational Health Check series by JEYPENT. Join us for the next episode as we continue exploring what it takes to build institutions that are not only effective but also sustainable. Till next time.